Hello and welcome to Inside Rugby. My name's Mark. I'm a Kiwi rugby fan living here in beautiful Cancun in Mexico. And in today's video, some sad news about French superstar Antoine Dupont, who got injured in France's thrashing of Namibia yesterday in the game. And this short video is just going to cover over what I think about what's going to happen now around this injury concern to Antoine Dupont. Well, as the rugby world knows by now, Antoine Dupont has been confirmed with an orbital fracture of the cheekbone. And this is terrible news, of course, for not only French rugby, but also for rugby fans around the world. But as we knew going into this Rugby World Cup in 2023, that injuries were going to play a major part. And of course, some teams are faring better than others when it comes to their injury concern. So despite the fact that France had a fantastic win against Namibia yesterday, they came out with probably the worst result they could have asked for, and that was losing their superstar to this injury. Now the injury that Dupont has is a maximo-zygomatic fracture, which basically means it could be displaced or non-displaced. And of course, if it means it's displaced, then he will have to have surgery, and there's about a 6-week healing time for that particular procedure. If it's non-displaced, then it could be 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So I guess this is why the French are keeping Antoine Dupont in the squad at the moment. But I think, look, you know, if he plays with this type of injury, then he's really risking a lot going forward to have permanent facial damages, and I guess that's not going to be a brave thing or a serious thing to do for Antoine Dupont. So the likely chances are we're going to have word that he's not going to be playing in the rest of the Rugby World Cup. Now, what impact does this have on France? Because of course, if you take your superstar out of the team, and of course France already lost Intermac before the start of this tournament, and now with their other half out of the tournament proposably, then it causes a lot of problems for France. But this is where the depth of the squad comes in. So what about replacements for Dupont? Well, there's Maxime Lucu, of course, and Baptiste Coulard, who came on yesterday against Namibia, scored a try in the first minute or so when he was on the field. And these two guys are adequate backups for Dupont. Of course, no one's going to be able to replace Dupont at his superstar level, but as long as France have got two capable halfbacks that are able to get these French backs away, I think they're still going to do very, very well. Of course, it's tragic news for us rugby fans across the world having any superstar taken out of this tournament, and it's very sad news for the French nation as a whole, because they really look at Dupont as being their knight in shining armor. So when he's out of this team, it's going to be sad news without a doubt. But I don't think this is the end for France. I think they now have time to reset and do a lot of practice with these other two guys in their training sessions to make sure they have a new game plan. Of course, they're going to miss Dupont's level of kicking, but in Lucu and Coulard, I think they really have two halfbacks that can do the job for France. And as I said in previous videos, you know, the depth of squad is going to be so vitally important in this year's Rugby World Cup. We haven't even got to the end of the pool stages yet, and some of the card situations and some of the injuries that have been impacted by other teams are already having an impact on this year's tournament, and I suspect that's going to continue as we go through the tournament. So we'll wait and hear what happens. Dupont, there is still a small minor glimmer of hope that Dupont is going to make a decision to play in a couple of weeks' time. Now that would be, in my mind, a really silly thing to do, because he could cause really serious damage to his face. But I think after the emotion calms down, obviously he was very upset yesterday. Apparently he was in tears in the dressing room after he came off the field. The swelling in his face had come up. He knew within himself that this was probably the end of his Rugby World Cup campaign. And none of us can understand, unless we've been there, what it's like for a professional sports person at the pinnacle of their career, facing the greatest tournament of their lifetime to date, and being taken out in this situation. And let's just have a fleeting memory as well for Deysel from the Namibia team, who actually caused this injury, because I'm sure in his wildest dreams he didn't anticipate that this was going to happen. He would be the person responsible for taking out the superstar of the 2023 Rugby World Cup. So it's a sad situation all around for everybody involved, and it certainly takes the shine off the 96-0 thrashing that France handed out to Namibia yesterday in that game. So we'll have to wait and see how this impacts France. I think they're going to be able to cope with it. I think Coulard and Luku are going to be able to do the job. As I said, they've got time now in their training sessions to get combinations working together and to get these guys mentally prepared for the kind of game that France is going to want to continue to play in this year's Rugby World Cup. So don't write France off yet. I don't think they're done with. I think they're going to find it a lot harder, no doubt about it, without Dupont because of his superstar status, his ability to be able to kick off left and right foot, his general play around the field, his leadership of this team. It's going to be sorely missed, there's no doubt about it. But France will come back, and I think this might even ignite the team a little bit more and get them out there to propel them forward, wanting to win this Rugby World Cup, not only for their nation as they expected to do in the beginning, but also now for Antoine Dupont, and really give him something to be proud of. Okay, those are my thoughts around this terrible injury to Dupont. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think it's going to really impact France that significantly that they're not going to be able to continue their run in the knockout stage of this year's Rugby World Cup? Or do you think, like me, they may be able to get through and continue their great run of form because they've got depth in their squad across all players? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be back again soon in another video around this amazing Rugby World Cup 2023. Until then, stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.